So what is this? What is this I'm having?
Miss, kanino to?
It comes with the bibingka.
Oh,
Okay, thank you. Comes with this one.
okay. I'll drink it.
You can drink it.
I will. Looks kind of strange drinking 2 drinks, but that'll be okay. Yeah, so what's been going on with you? Other than getting the Tour de Marcelino.
I don't take the jeepney very often out this way, so.
Mm-hmm.
But I trust the driver, so I just tell them that I'm going to Castellanos and stop at Pure Gold. Well, this time the driver paid no attention. He just took my money and away he went. And it was a fairly loaded jeepney, and started emptying out. And all of a sudden we come to an end, and I'm the only one left, and he's basically saying it's time to get out. And I said, and so I repeated, where I'm going, and he just kind of pointed across the street. So I got off, and I figured by then that obviously I'd missed my stop. And then so coming back, I told the driver where I wanted to get off. This time,
No problem.
He pulled over and he said, "Pure Gold."
I've only missed my transportation once here and went to sleep on the bus and wound up in Tarlac and woke up there and had no idea where I was.
Did you ever work in Angeles City?
No, I never did. I just
visited.
visited. Yeah, just visit over there. I really don't like it. It reminds me of Houston.
Was that right?
Yeah, it's just flat, flat, dry, and ugly.
Yeah.
Or flat and wet and ugly. Depends on when you go there.
Been back there once with Yali. We had to go there to pick up. Oh, I guess it was some uniforms. That's what it was. Some waitress uniforms. And so the fellow told us to meet him over at Dave's old place at the hotel. So that's where we went, and it was like, wow. We've been gone at that point, we'd been gone for probably about 4 years, and the place had totally changed. There used to be spots where there was just empty lot, and everything was just packed.
Built up.
Yeah.
Angeles, like I said, it just never interested me. It's so ugly.
Yeah.
It's just an ugly town. It's not.
I know that, there's a lot of foreigners that have invested an awful lot of money into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, whereas I think out here in Subic, a lot of the foreigners, it's not an investment as it is a hobby.
And a lot of them left or died.
Yeah.
Remember
Our friend.
the little place of the Generals? I really used to enjoy going in there. There were always a lot of people in there to talk to. And the guy Don that ran it, he was really nice. And
That was one of the afternoon bars.
afternoon bars.
Yeah, see, I was working then,
Nice.
so in the office, so I never went to any of the afternoon bars.
Yeah, that's true. I never really worked anywhere here much. Just not supposed to, so I just never did.
Yeah. Yeah, none of us were supposed to work, even though Dave kept promising to get us real visas that we could use for working here. Never ever happened.
You been watching the news lately?
Well, let's see, I've been watching Philippine news, I've been watching Vietnamese news, Canadian news, American, European. I got lots of time, so I watch the news every
I
day.
just wish I was guilty of something in the U.S. because I just pardoned everybody for everything. I should have taken advantage of that and robbed a bank or something before I left. I didn't do it.
And he's claimed that he's not finished yet.
Wow.
So
I wonder if I have some opportunity time I can get over there and do something nefarious and then come back.
Funny, that's something that we haven't done in Canada.
Is it in your Constitution or not?
No.
See, we have it in our Constitution. They can do that.
Yeah. So we don't have a constitution like you guys do.
What do you guys have? Just a spiral notebook and a pen, or what?
No, it's comparable to what they have in England. It's like a constitution, but it's not. I'll have to look it up when I get home.
Yeah, let me know. It got me curious now.
Yeah.
That deal about pardoning everybody. I thought to pardon somebody, that they had to have done something and been convicted of it and all that. But apparently, he just kind of said, well, anything you did in the last 10 or 15 years, you're home free on that. I'm just not sure that was the intent of the Constitution.
Yeah.
That means you could cover up stuff that you'd already done and, had maybe benefited from by pocketing a bunch of money or
Well,
bury some bodies.
everything has become politicized,
Oh, yeah.
regardless of your political party. But at the same time, I'm hearing the result of that when I hear Prime Minister Trudeau talking about how it's too bad that Americans are so sexist they won't even elect a female president. Well, excuse me. Your gender should not make a difference as to who you vote for. You vote for a person who you deem to be most qualified.
Well, that's all this DEI stuff, the diversity, equity, and inclusion. And, bottom line, that whole idea is bullshit. Everybody's entitled to their own Moochie opinion. Well, that's my Moochie opinion on that. I think it's bullshit. There's, equity does not mean the most qualified person benefits from what they do. It just means that it's kind of equal.
Yeah, yeah.
Regardless of what you did in the past, it just all comes out the same. So the guy that did good in college or the guy that didn't do good in college both can apply and get the same job. It doesn't make sense.
Well, it's like that book behind
if
you
you
there.
have a different color,
It's like that book behind you there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is effed.
I think I've had that book in my videos before. Didn't I have that one in my videos before? Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that when we were talking about the electoral college, was it? Or, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Ray and I talked about that, trying to explain it. She can't explain it. It's a too strange a concept for most people to understand. Ray is going to head out and go to Molokai.
Cool.
Yeah. So, I'll have 3 or 4 free days in January. I guess I'll play with the cats. That's about it.
See, if you're like a lot of the foreigners that come here, you'd be out playing in the bars.
Like I said, it's just not my style.
No,
It was my style at one time. When I first came over here, I've got it yet. It definitely interested me. I had a lot of fun and was into a lot of mischief.
yeah.
But I don't know. I've just, I settled down. I got older and my interests changed.
See, for me, it was kind of backwards because when I first came to the Philippines, I came here because there was people that I knew from Canada.
Ah, okay.
And
I didn't know that.
my only connection with getting involved with the bars was getting a job working in the office.
Yeah. One of the things that I was thinking about was the way the United States acts toward other countries. Sometimes I'm kind of ashamed of it because you think about all the wars and things that we've been in since World War II. Most of them is because we're trying to tell some other country what to do, trying to tell them to be democratic, or even when they have no idea, like Afghanistan has no idea what democracy is.
Yeah.
They're tribes. They're more tribal than the indigenous Indians in the United States.
Mhm.
Right. They're for centuries, and I just I think that's a travesty that we try to push our method of government to people that their culture's not even set up for it. The government's really bad about that, and I think that's something that I'm hoping that when Trump gets in, he's kind of said that he's not going to involve himself in all these little wars, and I sure hope that he stops that. I don't think that was a Democrat or Republican thing. I think that was a warmonger thing. What do they call it? The military-industrial complex. They've got their little financial paws on all the elected officials, and that's probably why a lot of that happens.
I was surprised to hear that there still are Americans in Syria. Apparently, they've kept a whole bunch of men. There's a whole bunch of them guarding.
Yeah, they had a base there.
They're guarding something like 1,000 Islamist rebels. I think they should just pull out and just tell the people, if you want to keep them locked up, that's your call. If you want to let them out, that's your call.
Yeah.
But maybe they're afraid
But
they do that. These guys will all
what we should
come
be
in.
doing is waving goodbye from them. I mean, we really have no business over there. Let them sort it out, and then we can deal with the survivors. They're trying to get Afghanistan to give civil rights to women, to give the women equal rights. Now, is that going to work? No, it's not. They've had thousands of years of the way it currently is, and they're not going to change. So why do we waste our time and our good soldiers to try to make that happen?
But at the same time, they could be told, if you guys want to ever survive with the rest of the world, you're going to have to change a few things about your thinking.
And they don't.
For one thing, they should be shown that there is value in allowing your women to be educated.
In World War II, Germany was at a big disadvantage because women weren't in the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And in the U.S., women were building planes and putting together machine guns and things like that. The German women were at home having little baby Nazis. So they can really make a difference if you have a educated and involved workforce women.
One thing that I observed when I was living in Africa is in most African countries, men are considered to be the guys or the people that actually make things work.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, when you live there and you observe what goes on,
It's the women doing it.
the women are doing the work.
Yeah.
The country that I was living in, Eswatini, I think it's called now,
Mm-hmm.
when they build a house, who do you think is responsible for putting the roof on the house? The women.
The women. Maybe they figure they're lighter and
Well,
won't fall through as easily.
It's probably because it's more dangerous.
Yeah.
You fall off the roof, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah, you just lose a
So,
woman.
so let the women. Yeah,
let
well,
them do it.
usually a husband has more than one wife, so it's expected in that country to have more than one wife.
And they're not Muslim either, right?
No,
No, that's just their tribal
that's just part of their tribal culture.
culture. Yeah.
See, that country is the only real monarchy left in Africa.
Of course, look at what happens when we have women in power like Hillary Clinton. The thing that just gave me the creeps about her was when she was talking about killing Omar Gaddafi.
Mm.
And she talked about killing another human being and then laughed about it.
That is the land of unconfirmed reports.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, I'm sure it did.
And to me, that was just ill. There's
Yeah.
something really sick about that person.
Well, she's always struck me as being, what's the word? Vindictive. You disagree with me? Well, I'm going to out you.
Yeah, you get on an enemies list
Yeah.
pretty easily.
I mean, that's why people joke so much about, you don't want to be her enemy, or she's gonna off you. She'll get someone to kill you.
And boy, some of those incidents that have happened over her tenure in office or in the government been pretty suspicious.
Yeah. Well, the Kennedys did that too.
The one that always mystified me was that little campaign worker guy that was just walking home in Washington. I've forgotten his name now, but he got murdered on the streets in Washington, not far from where he works, and they didn't take his watch, they didn't take his money, they took nothing, and he was dead. He worked for the Democratic campaign.
Mm-hmm.
The peculiar thing was the fact that, in a robbery or something like that, they kill you maybe, but they take your stuff. Who knows?
I saw a news article this morning. If you are found to be part of the incoming administration, Republican, you are going to get lousy service.
They never give up, do they?
And my thinking on that is, how petty can you be?
Yeah. I hope that if they're going to do that, they don't expect anything but lousy tips.
Yeah, well, then the next thing you're going to hear will be how the Republicans are cheapskates.
Yeah, it all ties together.
Yeah. Maybe open a website where you can submit your experience that you have in these places in Washington, D.C. And if you find that it's less than adequate, that what you do is you put down a score. And these are places that maybe you avoid. And if enough people avoid them, chances are eventually these places will close because there's no business.
No business, yeah. Remember when I was thinking about this because of Ray, in his resignation, about those guys going through Melania's underwear drawer.
Yeah.
I really got a kick out of that.
Yeah, I find it interesting that when Trump talks about it, he talks about them going through her lingerie drawer.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought that was hysterical. And the thing about it is, if I were an FBI agent, I'm not sure that I wouldn't do the same thing. And that sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Dirty old man now. I'm at that age. What can I say?
First thing to do is send out a notice to all government employees, all federal employees. You have until the end of the week to show up for work.
Yeah, that's right. They're not at work.
If you're not,
100%, it was like 80% aren't coming in.
95%.
95% aren't coming into work. So they're just sitting around watching TV in their underwear at home.
One of them even shot a video of him doing some work on his laptop while he was sitting in a bubble bath.
I missed that one.
Really,
First of all,
really.
it's amazing that he was in a bubble bath.
Yeah.
It's a guy, right?
Yeah, it was a guy.
Inclusion, DEI, I guess,
If they were to say, if you're not at work by the end of the week, if you don't show up in the office by the end of the week,
Don't come in the next week.
you're
right?
considered to be AWOL.
Yeah.
And therefore, grounds for immediate dismissal.
Yeah, they should do that because there's just no excuse for that. And people can work from home and do well. Usually those are entrepreneurs. A government employee who doesn't even do their job when they're on the job, they're not going to do anything when they're at home. Well, they're probably about 5% as productive as they were when they did come in.
I wonder how many scams are going on where you've got one person and they've got maybe 2 or 3 IDs. And they've got 2 or 3 jobs in different offices.
In the same,
But because they don't have to show up in the office,
they're getting paid 3 paychecks or something. They're the ones that make IDs. So
And
having an ID is pretty easy if you make them.
And apparently there's an awful lot of the people that aren't coming into the office. They're not even in the States. They've gone on holidays. And
They're just working from their laptop on the beach.
it'd be sort of like if you had a job with the Defense Department and you don't have to go into the office. So you just say, well, what the heck? I'm going to go and live in the Philippines because I like it here.
Yeah.
Because they basically do a direct deposit into your American bank account.
Right.
You just draw out the funds as you need it.
Yeah, you can use VPNs for your phones and all your other stuff. So you could look like you were in Kansas and be in Manila walking down the street looking for a plate of sissy.
I can be called from Canada and I can make calls to Canada and it's all on VoIP.
Yeah, that's what I just did that the other night. One of my brokerage accounts got messed up and I couldn't log in and was able to call them on Wi-Fi. And when I was on Wi-Fi, I couldn't get a hold of them at first. And I used my VPN to show that I was in the U.S. and then it went through. Everything's possible, and I'm sure that those guys have figured out all the angles. 95? You're serious about that?
I read in two different articles where it was like 95%. Well, a lot of them are still afraid about COVID.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought COVID was pretty much over.
No, it's not.
No?
No, COVID is still out there, and people are still getting vaccinated for it. In the States, there's a number of states that have a relatively high percentage rate.
Really?
A lot of
But is it the knock you down and kill you kind of COVID, or is it the runny nose kind of COVID?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
For some people, they're more prone to it than others.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you have a weak immune system, I guess it can hit you.
I don't know, Ray and I, we don't know if we ever got it or not. We never tested positive for it, either one of us. During the time that COVID was going on in Vietnam, we had colds.
I tested positive for it when I was teaching at the high school.
Uh-huh.
The school tested me and they said, you can't come in. You have to go home and you'll be off for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And before you come back, go to the drugstore, get a kit, and test. And if it's okay, then you're back.
Come back in. We never really had any symptoms or anything.
No.
Did you ever have anything, Rhea? You did?
Whereas one of my coworkers...
Rhea's our cameraman, in case people don't know. She's the first cameraman here.
One of my coworkers at the high school that I was teaching at in Ho Chi Minh City, he was a Brit, and his wife had come down with COVID, and she ended up with what they call long COVID, and that meant that it would sort of start to go away and then come back again and go away, and it was like that for months and months and months.
Oh, we had one death in our area over there from COVID. I knew the guy. He was a guy that one of our neighbors. He used to be over there eating. You know, we'd eat out on the street and stuff. He's one of the attendees. And when he died, he had to be. Well, I say he was older than me or as old as I am. He looked like he was about 100. The guy he weighed about 80 pounds. And was just a big wrinkle.
After the beginning of January, once Trump is in and starts cracking the whip, to talk a little bit about some of the changes.
About that. I think he's already, I can't believe that he's put together basically his entire cabinet and the important appointments and everything already. I mean, that just amazes me. I don't think I remember any president ever being this far ahead of the game when they went in office.
I think he learned his lesson the last time around.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then you hear how they're already starting to build up walls to try to block a lot of what he's going to do.
Yeah. It just, there's so many weird things about the government, like the Civil Service Act and the public unions, the public service unions and all this other stuff. It just makes it pretty difficult, really. You can get rid of somebody, but you may have to just reappoint them to a job, like in Anchorage, Alaska or something, or beyond if they are based in Antarctica, to get rid of them. I don't know if you can just fire them. I guess we'll tell everybody goodbye, and you can jump on the jeepney and go to Manila or something.
Manila?
Well, you kind of missed it this time.
Yeah, well, that I won't miss because that I get off at Walter Martin.
All right. So anyway, hey, everybody that tuned in, thanks for watching the Old Guys Talk Shit.
And if I don't see you, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching.